So in the last session, I had to, I think it was too heavy for many of you. So I had said that there are like a lot of articles in German language. So just to say the in German, you have der, die, das, die, and so on, because you first have to ask whether the noun with which the article associated, whether it is masculine, feminine, neutrum, or plural, and then you have to ask whether the noun is in nominative case, accusative case, dative case, or genitive case. What these cases are, we'll learn them later. But yeah, so the just for the you have so many things. If you want to say a or an, again you have to ask whether it is masculine, feminine, neutrum, and then you have to ask the case. Yeah, that means let's look at some examples. You have, so you can say ich lese, I read. You can say ich schreibe, I write. Now if I want to say he reads, you will have to say er liest. For she and it will be s, it will also be z or s. If I want to say we read, you have to say wir lesen. Yeah. Now if you want to provide some more context, what you are reading, so you will say book. Yeah, and you will say das book, the book. Yeah. So let us look at a few more examples. uh, Anyone wants to read? You can raise your hand. You just have to read this, like the sentences in German. Okay, no one wants to read. So you have over
Okay,
here. Yeah, Ravish, go ahead.
uh, sorry. Yeah, I thought someone would be raising that. So, but yeah, just give me a second. Let me zoom my card. Sorry, just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. Just give. Just give me a second.
Yeah, by the time Ravish comes, Jyoti, you can read maybe. Yeah, or you have a question.
Okay. Ich Subject.
No, 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 just
Ich
read the
habe.
sentence. Yeah.
Okay. Ich habe den Stuhl.
Yes. So I have, so haben is the verb. For ish, it will be, for I, it will be ish. Stuhl means a chair. Chair, if I go by the logic, chair is their stool. Yeah, chair is their stool, but I'm not saying there, I'm saying then. Why? Again, I am telling you, just accept it for now, that here you have, it is, so it is masculine and it is accusative case. So if it was nominative case, you would have said their stool, but because I'm telling you, just accept it for now, it is accusative case, so it is den stool. Yeah, so it is den stool. Please read, Jyoti.
Uh, Ich habe die Tasse.
The Tasse, so I have, Tasse means a cup. Again, here I'm saying the Tasse, but I'm also saying, I don't know if you can read it, I've written this is accusative. Yeah, so I'm saying Tasse is feminine. I mean, this you should know. So Tasse is feminine. So for Tasse, the article here, it is feminine, the, right? If it was nominative case, it would have been the. For accusative case also, it is the. So you don't see the difference, but we are using this the and not this the. Again, it sounds like stupid to say I'm using this the and not this the, but just so you know what I'm trying to say. So this is article used for a feminine noun, which is in accusative case. For many of you, this may sound confusing, but it is on purpose. Yeah. So you have ich habe die Tasse. Yeah. Now what I'm trying to say, even if you have no idea whether it is accusative, dative, genitive, people get confused all this. Don't worry, if instead of saying ich habe den Stuhl, if you had just said ich habe der Stuhl, if you had not used the correct article, people would still know what you are trying to say. If you are in A1, okay, in exam they'll cut your marks, but in real life, if you say ich habe der Stuhl, people will still know what you're trying to say. So what I'm trying to say is, for now, don't worry too much about these cases. Just start framing sentences, subject, verb, object, and use the correct article. Yeah, by correct I mean, like, use whichever article the nominative case one. Yeah. uh let's look at this one. Yeah, Jyoti, if you don't mind, you can read this one as well.
Ja. Ich habe das Fenster.
So ich habe das Fenster. So here you have, again, Fenster is means window, and window is in German language considered to be neutrum. The article for neutrum is das in nominative case. In accusative also it is das. here I have written it is accusative. Yeah. But let's say if you had no idea that it is accusative, nominative, dative, all you knew is that fenster is thus. And if you had said thus, you would have been right just because of the coincidence. Even if you had thought it is nominative, you would have still said thus, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Don't focus on mistakes right now if you're not preparing for exams. Just start speaking. Yeah. Uh, Diksha, you had a question or you wanted to read?
I want to read.
Read this one, please.
I have the tables. Ich habe die Table.
No, this is German, right? Ah, Tabellen.
Tabellen.
Yeah, Tabellen. Yeah. So Tabellen
Tabellen.
is plural. Yeah, Tabellen is plural. The article, the definite article for plural noun is the in nominative case. In accusative also it is the. I am telling you in this particular sentence it is accusative. So you are using this the and not this the. But even if you had guessed it wrong, if you had said it is nominative, if you had no idea about, if I had not taught you all this accusative, you would have been right just by coincidence. Yeah. This is what I'm trying to say. Start speaking. Ich habe die Tabellen. Uh, yeah, we have time. Let us now cover what is accusative, dative, genitive. Let's do it right away. We'll do it again one more time next time, but we should do it right now. So, uh, if I now, guys, please pay attention because we're talking about dative, genitive, and accusative. So you have some 5 sentences in front of your screen. I believe you can see it. So the first one is I am blah blah. Again, we are now trying to understand how to identify what is accusative, what is nominative, what is dative. Genitive we will ignore for now. So you have the sentence I am my name, I am reading the book, whatever the book name is, I am teaching whatever I'm teaching, I am teaching you German. So in this sentence, I just say, what I'm doing, whatever I'm doing. So I'm saying I am teaching or I teach German. Now here I am providing more information. I'm teaching you German. This sentence, I am helping you, just accept it. So you are saying I am helping you. There is, when you look at it, like from the I am teaching German and I am helping you, the only difference is instead of helping you have teaching. I could have just said I teach German, I help you. Yeah. But we'll talk about it. So now I is nominative, the Rohit or your whatever name is also nominative. Why do I say it is nominative? How do I say it is nominative? Let's say if I say blank is Rohit. If I say blank is Rohit, or let's say you come. Let's say I'm at a party. I'm talking to someone else, and you approach us, and you hear that you hear me say something, but you hear me say something like blah blah is Rohit, or you did not hear the blah blah part, right? So you will ask who is Rohit, yeah? Or let's say I say I am blah blah. You will ask who are you? So your question is who. So whenever the missing information, if you want to find out whether the noun, whether the noun or the pronoun is nominative, ask is it who, like can you find that information with the help of a who kind of question. It will be nominative. This is what nominative means. Or basically, uh, it is the subject of the sentence, or it is not the object of the sentence. So it is, if it is not the object of the sentence, you can say it is nominative. Next sentence, I am reading the book Atomic Habits. uh, Again, if I say blah blah is reading the book Atomic Habits, you will say who, right? You cannot I mean, you can say how, when, but I'm saying, I can be answered with the help of a who kind of question, right? So if you want to if the I can be the missing information can be found out with the help of a who kind of question, it is nominative. Now the book Atomic Habits is in accusative. Why is it's in accusative? One way to figure that out is, if I say I am reading blah blah, now you will say what are you reading, right? So you will say what are you reading. If the missing information can be found with the help of a what kind of question, that missing information, that missing noun or pronoun, will be in accusative case. This is not true all the time, but this will be true most of the times. Let's look at this sentence. I am teaching German. Again, I can be, blah blah is teaching German. Who is teaching German? I am teaching blah blah. What are you teaching? Or let's say he is teaching blah blah. What is he teaching? What is she teaching? The question is what. So whenever the missing pronoun, I mean, if you want to find out whether the noun is pronoun or noun, see with which question you can find this information. And if the question is what, you will not be right all the time, but you will be right many times that it is accusative. Let us look at this sentence. I am teaching you German. Here, if you want to, let's say I say I am teaching, you will ask what are you teaching, I will say German. Now you will say, okay, you are teaching German. To whom are you teaching, right? Who is the listener? So whenever the missing information can be found out with the help of a whom kind of question, it is dative. Yeah, not always, but many times you will be right. Yeah, so whenever the missing information, I mean, if you want to find out, if I write this in German, so whether you will be, so you have to find the pronoun, right? You have to find the pronoun. So pronoun can be nominative in nominative case, accusative, dative case. Now you have to ask whether it is accusative, dative, or nominative. I is nominative because the question to find this information is who. For you will have to use whom, right? Whom are you teaching German? And that's why it is dative. The same logic can be applied over here as well. I am helping, so your question will be, whom are you helping, right? Whom are you helping? And that's why this you is also dative. Any questions so far? Any questions? Feel free to ask. No question is okay. Let's try to, yeah, anyone wants to read this? Anyone wants to read?
I can try,
Yeah,
Rohit.
read, but don't, use your name, not my name. It sounds weird. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Uh, Ich bin Ravish.
Yeah.
Uh, Ich lese das Buch Atomic Habits. Habits. Yeah. Ich unterrichte Deutsch. Ich unterrichte dir Deutsch. Okay, dir. Okay. Ich helfe dir.
Yeah. So if you want to find the, let's say if I say blah blah is Ravish, the question will be where is Ravish or where bist du, right? So the question is where, who, and that's why it is nominative. The same thing for, like here, like, Ravish says ich bin blah blah. I will say, oh, where bist du, or where sind sie if I'm being formal. Again, the question is where, who. So you can say it is nominative. This sentence, Ich lese das Buch Atomic Habits. Again, for Ich, you will ask the question where, who is reading, where liest das Buch Atomic Habits. To find this information, if I say Ich lese blah blah, you will say was liest du, right? Was, what. So, if the question can be found with the was kind of question, you can take a guess and you will be right many times that it is accusative. The same thing applies for Deutsch as well, was unterrichtest du or was unterrichte ich. So, was, accusative. Here, you see wem, right? You don't see, let's skip this part because you have not learned wem is. What I'm trying to say is that if you want to say something that you have said in English and you want to say it in German, and if you're not sure whether the noun or the pronoun, wherever it is, whether it is the subject or the object, wherever it is, if you want to find out whether it is nominative, accusative, or dative, if you have no idea, go with nominative. That's what you know, right? What else do you know? If you have some idea, start, if you can figure out whether it is, then figure out the difference between accusative and nominative, right? Once you know what accusative and nominative, if you can do it for some time, now start see if you can also identify dative cases. Yeah, so that's how you work. Now this is the theory part, but let's say if you really ask me, like how do I, like, how do I know what, when is a noun accusative, dative, nominative, or so on. So my answer is verbs sein, heißen. So sein or heißen. For these two verbs, subject as well as object is nominative. Yeah, most of the times. So whenever you have the verb sein, subject as well as object will be nominative. Then you have, for almost every other verb, it can be subject is nominative. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that subject is most of the times nominative. We also now, but we are, I mean, I'm saying that the subject is most of the times nominative. I mean, most of the times, not all the time. Yeah. Uh, what about object? So like when is object nominative? When is object accusative? When is object dative? There is also something called as genative. Let's ignore genative for now. So I told you the object will be nominative for verbs like sein and heißen. Can there be more verbs? Yes, but sein and heißen you should know for now. Then what about accusative and dative? If let's say if you and I sit for 7 days in a row, every day like 3 to 4 hours, we talk about what do you do in a day, and we make a list of all the activities that you do, and we make a list of all the verbs that describe activities done by you. So we'll have a list of verbs. 90% or more than 90% of the verbs, the object will be accusative. Only for some verbs, like less than 10%, or let's say 10% of the verbs important to your life, the verbs will be dative. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that when you use sein or heißen, make sure, I mean, know that subject, just for now accept subject is nominative most of the times. Object will be accusative. Object will be also nominative for verbs sein and heißen. Object will be accusative for almost every other verb. Okay, so ignore dative verbs for now. I told you, like here, the verb, I mean, you can say helfen. So you can say that the verb helfen, this is kind of a dative verb. There is nothing called as dative verb, but let's say this is a dative verb. So for this verb, the object is dative case. Yeah. But even if you had just said, like for this it is accusative, if instead of saying ich helfe dir, you would have said ich helfe dich, because do in accusative is dich, people would still know what you're trying to say. People would know what you're trying to say. So I'm saying from now onwards, make sure the sentence, when you say a sentence in German language, the subject is nominative, the object is accusative for all the other verbs except sein and heißen. Any questions? Any questions about dative accusative? What I just said, the trick that I told you, how to figure out whether it is accusative or nominative. No questions?
Rohit, one question, just out of curiosity, is there like any order, like if the like subject, object order or anything, or it's we have to read the context and then.
What do you mean? Like sentence is, we told you, right? So subject, normally there are three ways to write a sentence.
Yeah.
Where did it go? For where did my
Yeah,
slide?
yeah. In that context only. I mean, like if the objects,
Yeah. So
I don't know. Like just I'm thinking like
normally you have subject, verb,
subject, verb,
object.
and object.
Yeah. And if
Yeah,
you want
or
to say
verbs.
yes or no kind of question, it is verb, subject, object. If you want to say W kind of question, it is W word,
The problem in.
then verb, then subject, and then object. Yeah, we learned this last
Yeah,
time.
correct. Yeah, correct. So my point is, in all the cases, let's say it's same thing. In if it's in accusative, so everything will be in accusative. In the same, in everything same.
Yeah,
If
so the
if
object
it.
will be accusative, right? I mean, so we are talking about
Oh,
object.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in any order we. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Order
Got it.
remains the same. Now we are talking. Yeah, order remains the same. So order still remains the same.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking because yeah, I was just actually confused. Sometimes we have niche, not negation, so that was why I was
Yeah,
thinking. But
no,
yeah,
that is something else. Now we are.
yeah,
I mean, as
yeah,
long
yeah,
as we talk about main clause, I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Got
yeah, we'll talk about that
got
when you use subordinate
Yeah,
clause.
yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Most welcome, Ravish. Any more questions? If no more questions, we can start with the vocabulary part. I understand today's call was not so like straightforward like previous sessions, but yeah, we can cover it one more time. No problem. This accusative dative thing. Any questions? Okay. If no more, yeah, Ankit, you have a question?
Yeah, Rohit, can you repeat with direct and indirect object? Why? Because this is the part where I always get
Direct,
confused with
indirect.
accusative.
Okay, I did not cover that part. Yeah. So direct, I did not cover actually that part, but let's do it right away. Yeah.
Okay.
Where is that thing?
Because I understand your method. Because mostly I only stick with nominative, and that is why I never learned accusative. And
Yeah.
whenever this accusative comes, I get confused. And if I repeat this, I will never go ahead and differentiate
Okay. Okay.
dative.
Okay. So you want to know the difference between accusative and dative in terms of direct and indirect verb.
Yes, with more than one example will
Yeah,
be.
let's do that. Yeah, let's do. Very good question. We have 8 minutes. Let's cover that part. So let's take some verbs. Lesen, uh, lesen,
Trinken.
trinken. It will not fit over here, but yeah, okay, we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I will talk about something which your German teachers, like may run after us with the hockey sticks if they see. Now, let's talk about ich lese. So if I say ich lese das Buch, okay, let's say ich lese die Nachricht. Yeah. So this means Ankit that I read the message or I'm reading the message. But if I want now you will say like so the Nachricht is the direct object. Now again it's very difficult to explain what is direct indirect verb, but what like what your gut feeling says, like let's say if I say ich lese die Nachricht, uh, I read the message. So boy, and if I say I read you the message, I mean little, let's say like you and I are in an office and I get a WhatsApp message and I say let me read the message for you, I read for you the message. Yeah. So again, if you hear the verb lesen, normally like your gut feeling should say the direct object should be what is being read. you know if I say something, you will say what is being said. So whenever
Mhm.
like what is your gut feeling says, what can be a direct object, what
Okay.
and that will be direct object. Indirect object will be something that is getting influenced indirectly by the something, like so I can say ich sag dir, ich sag, so I say blah blah. Yeah, let's say whatever blah blah is. So I'm saying blah blah. Yeah, so this blah blah will be whatever I'm saying, whatever what was, whatever I'm saying will be the direct part. Anybody else who is listening, it's the indirect. It is not getting directly influenced by the verb. The same thing applies for reading, right? When you're reading something, you are reading. I know my explanation is not like bulletproof, but it's more like gut feeling. You have to figure out, like when you see a verb, what
Mhm.
can be the direct activity that can be done with this thing. The same thing, for example, to print something, I print. When you say hear the word print, you don't think, right, for whom something is being printed. Normal question is what is being printed,
Mhm.
right? So that whatever is being printed will be accusative case, and whatever is indirect, you print it for someone else, that will be
Okay.
dative. Yeah. So when you have, it's a good question. So the same sentence can have accusative and dative objects. Accusative object will be the one which is the direct uh, which is getting directly influenced by the verb or by the subject. Indirect dative object is the object which is getting indirectly influenced by the by the subject of the sentence. Let me
Mhm.
see if there are other ways to think of this. Again, it's more like I mean, this is the standard definition. When you see a verb and the verb has two sentences,
Mhm.
so both the objects can be accusative. For example, ich lese die Nachricht und die Zeitung. So here Zeitung as well is accusative, because
Mhm.
both the things are directly influenced by this thing.
Okay.
But if I say ich lese, I read for you the message, and for her the newspaper. So her, it will be dative, so ia. So again, this has two dative objects and two accusative objects. Zeitung and Nachricht are being directly influenced by me, the subject of the sentence. Dia and Ia are just, yeah, it is being like they are getting directly influenced. Yeah.
Mhm.
Again,
Mhm.
let's play one more game. There are these people who are really good at reading people. You know. So ich lese dich. Is this wrong? Nothing wrong. It literally means I'm reading you.
Okay.
Yeah. So ich lese dich. Yeah. So I can read you, something like that. Yeah. So now here it is accusative because I am being read. It's not being read for me. I am the one who is being read. If you have questions, please ask. I don't know if my explanation would help you or confused you more.
uh, it helped me. It started helping me, and then again it started confusing with this last example.
Last
One
example
more.
again. So
Yeah.
here, so if I say ich lese dich or ich lese dir, let's say there are
Mhm.
two sentences, ich lese dich. Now here where, like it's not good to make mistakes. So if I say ich, let's say I know you, I know your German is not perfect. And if you say ich lese dich die Zeitung, I will know, you want to say ich lese
Okay.
die Zeitung. You just made a mistake. It's a sweet mistake, I know. But, uh, I hear uh, this, just this. I'm not like, what is he trying to say? Like, why is he reading me? You know, something
Mhm.
like that. So, so because now why it is accusative? Because the some like whatever is being read is a person.
Mhm.
If I can say I read this person for you, or like for me, ich lese mir again. I don't think you will ever say it, but it means, or let's say I read you for her. I look at you and I talk about you, and I'm doing this for someone else. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah. So here she is dative, and that's why it is ia. Dish is accusative. you know so does it make sense? Like, so ich lese dich will means I read you, like, I'm literally reading you. Ich lese dia will mean I am reading something else. I'm reading and you are listening. So you
Mhm.
are my
Okay.
audience. Make sense?
Okay. Maybe if I do some more examples as a homework, I will come up with more questions,
Yeah,
teacher.
yeah.
I don't know.
This call
The
will end.
call is
I'll post the link in the call. Join
okay.
that one. Yeah.